our military recruitment, it's been struggling, and it's been struggling in large part because of just the challenges we're facing across the workforce. There's a lot more opportunities for people that are affecting this. I talked to some military recruiters and others that are engaged, and they're saying, like, look, it's tougher to have conversations with young Americans right now about patriotism, about service. And that's something that we have to recognize as part of the challenge too.
We've got good young people who want to consider the military. They're not being educated, by the influencers. I don't care whether it's their teachers, their coaches, their parents, their pastors. The sad part of those who would consider it, 72% of the age-eligible men and women are not eligible for military service because of obesity being the number one. A far distant second would be some type of addiction. And the third far distant would be felony convictions that would make them ineligible. When you think about that, their services are recruiting out of a pool of about, let's say, less than 30% of the age-eligible men and women.
I think if we continue to see this for years to come, that will have a real detrimental impact. I think right now, talking to our military leaders, they're able to manage this and find ways to be able to move pieces around and try to get and focus in on some of the priorities. It's no doubt having an impact, but I think we're able to work with it now. But it's going to become a problem if this continues to last. And we're going to have to really think that through. This is the 50-year anniversary of the all-volunteer force. So it's important for us to reflect on this and recognize, what does that mean? And what do we need to do and invest in to be able to keep that volunteer force going forward?
I am not too concerned at the moment from a national defense. My biggest concern, again, is we got 10 grandkids. And in 4 years from now, all of them will be out of high school, whatever they're doing next. My concern is that American 18-year-old understands how lucky they are to have been born and raised here. And then where I want to tie it back into national defense, you have a more informed young adult citizenry that goes, holy cow, if I had not, spent a little time in the military, I would have not seen what life is like in a particular part of the world that is disadvantaged.
We've been having, in the National Defense Authorization Act, increases in pay for troops, but those are honestly statutory increases that are meant to be pegged to, rising costs. We haven't had a targeted pay raise in a long time. And that's something that myself and a number of other members have been talking about, that we need to have a targeted pay raise, not just something that's pegged towards, rising costs and keeping up, but something that's about lifting up. And I actually just ran into a military family in my district. Their youngest son just joined, is an E1 right now. And they're just saying, look, he's not making enough.
The NDAA that we just passed had a record pay increase, but I believe it should be more, especially for the junior enlisted troops. The officers are doing just fine. They're doing just fine. But it's those E1 through E9s, but especially the E1s through the E7s that need the big bump because of the inflationary times that we're in. But still, they're lagging behind, even if we didn't have, higher than normal or higher than average inflation.
I don't think we're there. I think we're, 50 years has been working, and I don't think we're at a place where we're going to say we're going to throw in the towel. Yes, we have increased competition globally. But I still feel like there are ways in which we can manage that. We have to recognize that, again, it's not just our military might that gives us strength globally. We should be investing in our diplomacy, investing in our economic tools abroad. And I think that that's something we overlook, especially when we're talking about the U.S. competition with China right now. It's often framed as just like a military confrontation and the Taiwan Strait. There are other ways in which we can, make sure we're engaged in the proper level of strength.
I don't think we need a draft. I was already in the military when the lottery system came about and when the draft ended, in the early 70s. If we do need, though, a selective service system that has an accurate database of age-eligible men and women. Our selective service system should know where people are if we were to potentially need them.
I have a lot of disagreements with some of my colleagues about some of this stuff. I mean, for instance, with all the recruitment challenges with our military, I think it's important that we lean in and show that this is a welcoming place to work, that the military is a good employer, and especially we have the most diverse fighting force in the entire world. So I'd love to tell you that we're on the cusp of something. I mean, I'm certainly pushing, but we have some real challenges and real things that we need to work through. Otherwise, we're not going to ever get there.
Having me worked in the Department of Defense at the highest levels, I know where bureaucracies are good and where bureaucracies are not so good. And we as Congress are focused on the oversight piece. After the funding, now it's up to the Department of Defense. And let's face it, we got a few folks at the administration level now who have a different view of the world, and our conservative side of the aisle just doesn't happen to agree with that. So we're pressing them to focus on recruiting, training, readiness, and then the last one, which is retention.
I don't necessarily think that that's what's going to be fixing this recruitment challenge at large. Like, there are other issues other ways to be able to do this that I think can get at this problem quicker and in a larger way. But what you raise is it's important for us to recognize that, our American strength was built on being this magnet for talent around the world and be able to engage. And whether that's in uniform or not, we benefit from having that talent come here.
A non-citizen has to be here legally. And if a person is here illegally, and if they want to serve, their best option is to go back to their country of origin, go through the process, and get here, and they will be welcomed into the military. On a logical exception basis, what are the people who are legally in our country who are not citizens? What is the chance for them to serve? We in the Marine Corps, especially down in Southern California, have a lot of Hispanic folks coming from Central America, Mexico, that have served honorably, have served well, and move forward. But again, a person, in order to be considered for it, has to be here legally.